I just want to say welcome everybody to our Youth Week 2021 podcast series. So today we're going to be talking about what is your utopia, and I'm going to ask you guys, each of you guys at a different point, what is the change you guys want to see in your community, and how we as young people are going to make that change. So you already know who I am. I'm Cara, but would you guys like to just introduce yourself really quick? Starting with Nooks.
Let's start with you, because you prepared yourself with
okay,
a piece of paper.
Well, it's just a piece of paper, don't worry about it. Okay. So, hi, I'm Mani, I'm 17 years old, and I am an enthusiast of physics and mathematics, and I love talking and encouraging people to study philosophy, and not only as a subject, but also as something to implement in their lives. That's my goal here, and that's what I thrive for every day.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yo, I'm Casper. Just like Marnie, I have a massive liking for philosophy and the ways we can apply it in real world situations. But I don't have any academic credits whatsoever. I'm just me, I guess. But I am a volunteer, which is quite fun. Big into music, and recently I've been learning card magic.
Awesome. Where are you volunteering at?
I'm volunteering at Youth in Search, the Australian youth-based youth-based trauma place.
I wish I was 17, but I'm not. So my name is Nooks, and recently I started picking up content creation and doing stuff on the tickety talkness. Yeah, and the reason why I did that is because I felt like it complemented my work as a youth worker to find out what's relevant for young people, what's trending, what are the themes, what are the topics they're talking about, and how I can kind of merge and bridge the two skills together. So that's what I do. That's my name. Yeah.
Thank you guys for being here today. So before we get started, I'm just going to ask you a bit of a question. So what is your utopia? So what is your dream world? What is your ideal world that you would just love to live in? Start with anyone.
Wow, tough question. Yeah. If I'm gonna go with one word, I would probably say unity. A world where we can tolerate each other and our ideas and our cultures, and adapt to changes in order to advance to a better future that is utilitarian for everyone.
I love that.
I think that's my view.
What about you, Casper?
Mine would probably be expression and sustainability are two of the most important things for me personally.
Brilliant. What about you, Nooks?
Oh man, okay. I'm thinking really hard, and Sister Laura just gave us a one-word limit. So because of that, I would like to have free internet for everyone that's like gigabit speed, and see how that can work.
I honestly think that would solve everyone's problems.
Other than to make them much worse.
Exactly.
Let's find out.
So I just want to start by asking you guys, why did you want to be a part of this project, and how did you become a part of the project?
Well, on the surface, I just joined SS4C, or School Strike for Climate, this year, early January. Wonderful people there, and on the platform there, someone posted about this concept, and I thought, this is one opportunity that I'm getting, and I've gotten because of all these events that have happened in my life. I'm not going to miss out, and I'm going to speak out what I think.
Awesome.
Yeah. I attend 2010, the youth-based LGBTQIA support group in Sydney, and I've been outspoken politically and philosophically for a couple of years at this point. So when I heard that, I don't know, I just like any opportunity to express myself, especially when it comes to my viewpoints in the world.
Brilliant.
any initiative and any project that helps to amplify voices of young people, but also include young people in the conversation, whatever it may be, I just join in and see if I can add value to that.
Beautiful. So what change do you guys want to see in the world, or even just like in your community?
A big concept that I've been thinking about recently is education. I feel like education recently and throughout the years has become some sort of a privilege in first world countries. I think just like water or the oxygen we breathe that we don't pay taxes on, we should not privilege, education should not be a privilege for a minor sector in the world. It should be universal and for everyone, because that's the point of getting to a better world for youth and for elder, for every generation.
I think that I come from Western Sydney, and personally, like on the ground level kind of thing, just when you go outside your house, there's a lot of really stubbornness in our community, in my community at least, but I feel that a lot of the time people are afraid to properly express themselves in my community if you outside of what the general population deems the norm, whether that be through sexuality, gender expression, or sometimes even ethnicity. But I think that we need to really get to the core of, like what Mani said, in that education is a big part of that. I think we need to really rework from the childhood level upwards as to how like accessible education is, and we need to improve the like I'm a teenager, I'm 16, 17 next month, can't tell me what to do anymore, mum, but what I think needs to happen is that, in my experience in school, is that people are really bigoted, and that's always been a thing, is that like the school grounds are always like the war grounds when it comes to if you're different, that people pick on you and people gang up on you and you get excluded socially. I think we need to include accessibility to different subjects, like the people you if you don't go outside, you don't really meet many people. And if you go to school, you don't get really taught about other types of people. You get taught about like Australians as a whole, and that's about it. So I think we need to include a lot of like different kind of people into the Australian curriculum, so that you come into school and you know that there are different kinds of people, and that there's nothing necessarily wrong with anyone for being who they are, and that we need to treat them with welcoming kindness, rather than trans people and gay people kind of just getting sidelined in the curriculum until you get out of high school and actually meet some yourself.
So would you say like more awareness?
Definitely.
And more knowledge?
Oh yeah, of course. I think that I think those two go hand in hand, and that once you've raised awareness, you raise the knowledge, and I think that there isn't enough of either in the Australian school space, at least in the high schools where I went to.
Oh wow, okay, so that's a big one, and I'm gonna try and condense it because I can feel Laura's eyes beaming on me. Laura is the person that's directing us, fellow viewers. I know, right? Can you put her like just right here near my face? Zoom in, black and white, bang, her face again. Laura. Okay, there we go. So the changes I would like to see in my community, as someone that's Cook Island Māori from New Zealand and from the Pacific region, is an improved rate of education, simply because it breaks away from many of the cultural barriers that face us when it comes to mental health, financial literacy, domestic violence, drug and alcohol, so on and so forth. I would love to see that in the community and see us as a people thrive, because with our population rate and representation, both in the governance space, we're like a minority and a minority of a minority. So yeah, it'll be really cool to see a little bit more improvement in that space.
Brilliant. Sometimes thinking about the change we want to see in the world can feel overwhelming. Sometimes we can feel helpless, hopeless. So we want to bring that in a little bit, and because change can be of the littlest and smallest things. So before everyone came and sat down today, we asked you guys to pick 2 strengths that you feel about yourself, and how you might be able to use those strengths, or how you are already using those strengths to bring about change that you want to see in your community. We'll start with you, Casper.
Awesome. I think that I'm enthusiastic, and I think I'm good at communication. I think those two things go hand in hand, and they're very important especially when you're trying to convince anyone of anything. In that, like a lot of the time, with good communication, you can evolve friendships with people who otherwise wouldn't meet people of your whatever minority group, I suppose. But through meeting people and through being able to communicate an idea well, you can really help convert people into like more morally acceptable ideas. You can really help build communities, and you can really help like strive for whatever you deem to be better in the world. But yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. The two words or aspects I think I was going to talk about is firstly teamwork, which is essential, and possibly the ability to pause for a moment and contemplate philosophically about the situations we're in. I think, thousands of years ago, a scholar had to spend weeks to travel to a library to find some sort of information. Now it's just a click away from that. There's such a massive infusion of information and entertainment now that I think when we're dealing with the situation, especially the youth, with all the platforms that are available to them now, they have to think, and we have to pause for a moment and think about what we believe, how it affects the people around us, and possibly 2 minutes, a year later, 10 years later, of what happens. And I think that can only happen through teamwork and a societal value that we can set on those ideas.
Brilliant. What about you, Knox?
So my brain's because he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, and man, when I was your age, I say that like I'm an old person, but like we only had Facebook or Bebo or MySpace to deal with, and with the level of access that was available to us back then, not everyone had it. But now it's like you just have a smartphone, you've got access to all these services. So it's like, good luck on that. So for me, the two words I could think of right now would be creative and resilience. So as someone that creates content on social media, really covering some really hard to swallow pill themed topics, cultural barriers is one of them. I've used my platform to amplify the issues that we are facing, not only from my lived experience, but as someone who works in the youth sector, working with these young people that are either in disadvantaged or mainstream spaces, who don't necessarily have the ability to bring this to their parents, simply because if they did, they will be faced with homelessness or violence. So that's why I do it, because with the experience I've had with like just hate comments, racist comments, ableist comments, I'm willing to take that, knowing that it helps a young person who couldn't voice that. And that's what I've done, and I continue to do that. Yeah.
Thank you guys for sharing about all those different strengths that you guys portray. Before we wrap up, I just want to hear one more thing from you guys, which is if you could say one message to a person in power, what would it be? Start with you, Casper, because I think your brain's ticking there.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
I think the main problem, especially with people in power in Australia in particular, is that just listen. Do you know what I mean? Because the population's always been outspoken about a lot of things, and you think to yourself, if all these people are screaming about this, if the majority of Australians are talking about this problem, how come we haven't done anything yet? And it's because the people in power don't want to listen. So that's it. Just listen.
Brilliant. What about you?
Yeah, listen. Through the fact of listening is the easy concept of communication is what makes ideas move from one person to community and affect the world.
Yeah.
And another way I think we can approach that is education, and we need great education infrastructure in Australia in order to make that happen, and the youth are waiting for that.
Yeah.
We need to improve.
Oh my gosh, there's like so many angles I can go with this one. Okay, Nooks, come on. Think of something that would affect everyone. Get rid of career-termed politicians and see how we go with that.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I think it's quite insulting to have politicians whose career is the career of a politician, and just get rid of it and see what happens. See if they would actually fight for that seat, or if they're only doing it because it's a safe position, because you can look like you're creating change, you can look like you're listening, and you're not. So yeah.
Love that. So it's been incredibly inspiring sitting here, listening to you guys speak today. Obviously, we've spoken about so much different topics here. So I just want to thank you guys really for being here and sharing your voice and your wisdom with me and inspiring me now, hopefully inspiring the people that are listening. And tune in tomorrow for the next episode. We're done!
Yay!
That was fun.